Hello everyone, Matea from Content Liva here, your digital marketing specialist for moving companies. This time we have a topic that all moving companies who want online success will be interested in, and that is web design. It is not enough to have any website design. You need to make sure that it is clean, functional, simple, and easy to navigate. What do you have to pay attention to when designing a website for conversions then? You need to make sure to include the right elements for the layout, structure the content properly, choose the right colors for conversions, and implement search engine optimization. Our guide will teach you all that and more. We will also help you choose the best CMS for web design and tell you which steps to stick to when designing your website so you don't go off track. Okay, let's start straight away and see the best examples of moving company web design for conversions and see which steps you need to take to design a web of your own that will attract customers. So, first of all, the subjects or the topics we are going to cover here are why web design is even important for movers, how to make or choose a good web design, what to pay attention to for the layout, how to structure the content, choose a color, what to do in terms of search engine optimization, and which CMS to choose when you're designing your web, as well as an 8-step plan that will help you to build and design your own website. And that's it in short. So why is web design important to movers? First of all, web design actually, what is web design? In web design, we are thinking of the layout, the appearance, the content, the structure, and the categorization of the website. So these are all the elements that we have to take into consideration here. And the main goal of web design would be to include all information the user needs or wants to see on the website, so they don't have to go on another website to find the information that they are looking for. And basically, our main goal is to close a deal with the customer. So to build trust with the customer and persuade him or her that our deal or our solutions are what he needs or she needs. And with a good web design, you are able to grow online presence. You can generate more leads and customers. You can even get better Google rankings, which will then help with generating leads and customers. You can lower your bounce rate, so less people will leave your website without converting into customers. You can also start building your brand consistency and get an increased revenue in the end, which would be a goal for a moving business for sure. Now, how can you make good web design? These three things are what you need to pay attention to. You need to make a web that is secure, fast, and responsive. When we're saying secure, we are thinking that it needs to be secure both for users and that the Google or Google's algorithms should also be considering it safe or secure. And how you can do this, basically, the best way is to have an SSL certificate on your website. This is a part of the code on your website that makes all online communications run safely. It will help you to protect your website from hackers, keep all customer or user data secure, and there are so many other ways as well that you can help to have a secure website, and some of them include having a two-factor authentication, not clicking on any links in emails that you find dodgy. Also, you should be updating all the plugins and having the latest security updates on your website as well. And there are so many other things that you can also do, like having strong passwords and so on. The next thing is making your website fast. And this is very important because if you don't have a fast website, so many people will leave and go to another result on Google to satisfy their need. They don't want to be waiting around for long for your website to load for them. So basically, you want your website to load in maybe under 2 seconds. Everything over five will be way too long, but optimal and okay is even under 3 seconds. So this is one example of a website that has an SSL certificate. This also means that they have a HTTPS protocol running, not HTTP. When we're talking about the speed, this is one example of a website that loads very fast, even under 1 second. And finally, you also need to make your web design responsive. This means that you are targeting a large number of people, because not everyone uses the desktop. Some people go on their mobile phones, some people use iPads, tablets, and so on. So you need to make sure that your website is responsive on all screen sizes. Now, there are also three elements to always pay attention to when choosing the layout of your website. First is the header, that is the top section of the website, and it should include things like a professional looking logo, contact info, which is your phone number, your email address, as well as a contact form, so customers can reach out to you easily, and a navigation menu. In this menu, you are basically showing off the structure of your website and allowing both the users and the Google and other search engines to understand what your website is all about and what can be found on your website. So this is one example of a header. Then we have the body of the website. This includes or needs valuable content. So the body of your website needs to include valuable content, and how you can have in-depth content that answers all the questions a certain user has. So when they come to your website, they will find the answer to their needs, pain points, and you can offer them your solutions as to why they should choose you. You can also include your services on your website in the body, as well as show them how they can earn your trust. And usually they can earn your trust through different elements, such as badges for trust that you can include on your website. These are like associations, awards that you have won, the rating of your customers on Google, and so on. And another thing that will help you is the testimonials. You should include both written and video testimonials of real people who are showing why, or saying why everyone should trust your service, why they recommend your service to other people. Another way to build trust is through authentic videos, photos. So you can include photos of your team at work, your truck being loaded, and so on. This is a great way to do that. You also need to include calls to action, something that will edge the customer or the user on to get a free quick click, to get a free quote, to call you up, to send you an email, and so on. And finally, the last layout element that you need is the footer. It is basically the same thing as the header, they just have a bit of a different layout. So your footer should include quick links to the most important pages on your website, so the customer can navigate the website easily even if they're at the bottom of the page. Then you should include your company info, like your logo, phone number, email number, address, and so on. And finally, social links, so links to your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever web social media profile you have, because that way the user can find you without having to go on Twitter and maybe find a wrong company, and so on. So this is one example of that as well. Now, besides having these three main elements, you should also structure your content properly. So your content should not just be scattered around all over the website. It needs to have a proper structure that will help both users and Google understand what your business is all about. And basically, when structuring your content, you should first have a homepage. This is the first page that someone who comes to your website sees, or when they put in your URL. And basically, this is a web page that should definitely be very well designed, because it will leave the first impression on your potential customer. So always include a hero image on your homepage. This would be an authentic photo or even a video of your team at work. Great for building trust and helping to interest your customers in your services. Then you also need separate pages for each service and each location that you are targeting. That means that you need to have separate pages for moving services such as office moving, piano moving, senior moving, student moving, and so on. And to have a separate web page for each location you are targeting if you are targeting more than one location. So, for example, if you're doing office moving in Dallas and in Fort Worth, then you need to have both of those web pages on your website. Moving on, we also need a web page that you are going to call Why Us. This is great for earning trust and increasing conversions by earning trust of your customers. So here you can include all those badges for trust, customer ratings, and even give some reasons why they should choose you. For example, maybe you're very safe with how you handle their stuff. Maybe you have no hidden fees. Maybe you are very easy or like very fast, and so on. Also, you need to have testimonials. So this is one example of all the badges and awards that you can include on your website to help build that trust. But then to help build that trust, you can also include a web page with your testimonials. Why you should include like written and video testimonials even on your homepage and your pages for each one of the services you offer, you should also include it in a separate page which you call testimonials, and it can be like a hub for all the reviews that your customers have left so far. So include both written and video testimonials here. Then you can have even a separate page for our work. Basically, here you can show off all your large projects that you've had, how you've handled them, include a lot of photos and videos of it, and even like say what the jobs were in numbers. For example, we needed 5 trucks, we needed a team of 15 people, we did this many trips, and so on. Then an about us page is also very important to build that trust, because you are showing that you are real people behind this brand and that you can help others move their stuff. So you would need to include information about your company, the owners, the team, how the story started, and so on. Contact us page, very important as well. You should include many different platforms or channels where customers can reach out to you, like your phone number, email address, contact form, social media. Include even frequently asked questions, your physical location, and so on. And finally, a good content structure would also include a get free moving quote page. This is a page where you can put a contact form with questions that potential customers can answer, and then based on that, you can give them a free moving quote so they know what to expect. And this is one good example of a contact us page, so we can see that they have all the different ways they can be reached out. And this is one example of a free moving quote. So once they put in all this information, they can then calculate their own moving quote. Another really important part of web design is knowing which color to include on your website. So you need to be aware of a color palette and know a little bit about the color wheel, what a hue is, what saturation is, to be able to choose colors for your website that will help to increase conversions and not do the opposite. And basically here we really need to pay attention to user experience. So we should not be including more than 2 to 3 colors on your website in the design, because that will be too stimulative and not good. Now, when you're choosing these 2 to 3 colors, there are many different ways that you can do that. Like you can use the same, you can use just one color but different shades of that color, or you can use 2 complementary colors, like this example here, red and green, because they are on the opposite sides of the color wheel. And there are so many other color theory examples and elements that you can take into account. Now, I have listed some colors that are most used in web design. Basically, blue and white are the most used. White gives you that uncluttered look, while blue helps to build trust, shows peace, loyalty, and is usually one of the mostly used web design colors. But then also you can even have orange if you want to invoke fun and joy in your customers, and they are usually even used for these persuasive buttons or calls to action. Then yellow is also good for evoking strong feelings, so you can help conversions. Green is great if you're trying to show abundance, freshness, development, and is usually actually used for environmental topics. And besides the color, you also need to take a good look at what the font is like. You need to make it easy to read. You need to make sure that it is dark enough, that is, for example, if the background is white, then best would be to have a black font, not a yellow font, because if the background is white and the font is yellow, it will be hard to read and understand. Right, once you have your color figured out, you also need to make sure to use search engine optimization while designing your website. And we have already talked about some of these things at the beginning, because we said your website needs to be secure, fast, and responsive. But apart from that, you also need to have content hierarchy. This means that you have to organize your website into categories and subcategories of that category. For example, your service pages, you will have one page for all your services and then separate pages for each one of your services. So this would be an example of categories and subcategories. Then you also need to have a proper URL structure. So always stick to one URL pattern. That means, for example, for your service pages, domain.com/service/location, and then that's the URL structure that you follow for all of your services. You also need to make it short and make sure to include keywords in that URL structure, not to make it some random numbers, because that doesn't help with search engine optimization. Then metadata includes title tags and meta descriptions, and they are what is visible in the Google search results or any other search engine. So make sure to have a title tag of 60 characters, and that your meta description that shows what is on that page is not longer than 155 characters. Then you also need to have a sitemap to help Google see, understand, read, and even crawl your website to be able to show it on search engine results. So have a file with all your web pages in one place, and your videos and everything else that is on your website. Then you also need to make sure that the content is readable. This means readability basically means that fonts are big enough, they are easy to read, that the heading tags are included, as well as bullet points to break big blocks of text, so it's easy to read. You can even include visual elements like videos and images to break big blocks of text and make them easy and to read and more scannable. Then you also need to be updating a blog regularly, at least once a month. This is a great way to target keywords and get organic traffic to your website as well. Also make sure not to include a lot of duplicate content on your website. This can hurt your ranking on Google, as Google doesn't like it. And always make sure that you are not copying and someone else's content on your website, and that you are not repeating too much of the same stuff on many pages on your website. Also, you need to make sure that the content can be easily indexable. Now, to be able to do that, you should usually use a HTML text format. This will help Google to easily read and find and understand your content, so it can show up in the results. Now, which CMS to choose for your web design? This is a content management system, and we have included a few examples here of what you can choose between, but we usually suggest to everyone to design their website on WordPress because it is most widely used and offers a lot of free and even paid themes and plugins that you can choose between to get to the point with your web design. Basically, in WordPress, you can have a lot of plugins installed for search engine optimization, even for mobile optimization, and to ensure that the website is overall secure for users and for search engines. Now, there are some editor blocks and things in WordPress that can also help you to figure out SEO along the way by giving you help with coming up with your permalinks, with the image alt tags, and so on. And there are loads of different plugins that you can choose, such as Yoast SEO, WooCommerce, Google Analytics, that are very popular and work well with WordPress, but make sure not to include too many plugins because that could slow your website down. And we said that your website needs to be fast. Besides WordPress, you can even choose between Joomla, Wix, Weebly, but as I said, WordPress is very widely used, and that's why it's very recommended for moving companies as well. Now that you know all of this, we can go through every step that you need to take while designing your website. So, step one would be choosing your domain and hosting. We usually suggest, especially, if you are going to use WordPress, and we recommend that you do, then Namecheap, Easy, WordPress, Supersonic hosting is great. You can have it for just $69 for the first year and then $155 per year. And besides choosing this hosting, you can even buy your domain name on Namecheap for maybe like $20 per year, or around somewhere around that price. And your domain on Namecheap should also have a .com, and as well as you should make sure that your domain is actually your brand name or your company name, if that is available. Then you can go on to installing the free WordPress version by logging into your Namecheap account, clicking on WordPress, and then setting it up. Then, after you've done that, you can go on to choose your theme. I've listed the three main or most popular and fastest themes on WordPress that you can choose between. There's GeneratePress, Neve, and Astra. And as they are very optimized for being fast, you will also see that they are very secure, and they can be used for many different industries and customized for industries as well. Then in step 4, you can move on to setting up the theme. So you can include your logo, your contact information, then create that navigation menu that will show the structure of your website, and then you can create each one of those pages to have a good website structure. Once you've done that, you can move on to installing your SSL certificate, which can be done through the WordPress and Namecheap. And then in step 6, you can start doing keyword research. We have a separate video that shows you how to do keyword research for your moving company, so you can check that out. And once you have your keywords all set up, you will know which keywords to target, which keywords your potential customers are looking up, so you can include them on your website and bring them to your website to find the answers to their questions or their needs and their pain points. So once you have your page structure set up, then you can create content for each one of the pages and even add visual content to it, so it is well optimized for search engines and for keywords. Then step 7 would be search engine optimization. This means doing all on-page SEO steps that we have already talked about earlier, like making your content indexable, including internal and external links, and so on. Then in step 8, you should also include some tracking tools and install them on your website to help you figure out what your customers are how your customers are landing on your website, where they are converting the most, which web pages have the lowest bounce rates, and so on. So some of them would be Google Analytics or Google Webmaster Tool or Google Search Console, as it is known now. Then your Bing Webmaster Tools for figuring out a way to rank on Bing search engine, and then you can even buy keyword tracker. There's many different ones available on the market that will help you to see where you are ranking for the keywords you are targeting. And finally, have a Metapixel installed as well to help you build custom audiences, to help boost conversions and ad reach, and so on. So this is the Supersonic hosting that we recommend. And then this is the GeneratePress theme that is the fastest on WordPress. Now, once you know all of the steps that you have to take and how long it takes and what the time it needs and the knowledge and all the skills that are included in web design, you must be wondering if it would be better to just hire an agency to do it for you. Usually, for experts who do web design, they will need 2 to 4 weeks to set up your website and make sure that it is good quality content and something that can help you with search engines and converting visitors into customers. But if you decide to do this on your own, it might even take you 1 to 3 months to figure it out, to have enough skills and enough knowledge to put all of it together to be at least somewhat presentable. Now, here you can see what the average prices for different web design elements are, and in the end it would cost you around, with average prices, it would be a lot of money altogether, because each element costs a lot of money. However, if you want to see what our price for this is, if you want to see how we can help you design your website and even do additional strategies for you, then reach out to me and we can set up a call, or we can send you our proposal so you can see how it can be done for less money as well. So reach out to me if you are interested. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments, and thank you for watching.